Do you think the new currency is what makes people fall? No, sometimes all it takes is one slip in the system. This isn't your typical travel documentary. This is a journey into the heart of darkness that many people are too afraid to face. Are you ready to confront it? Hit like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment to help spread this message of humanity. Up next, we'll head straight into the epicenter of one of the most severe homelessness crises in America. People often think of travel as beautiful pictures, endless green mountains or dazzling cities lit up at night. But in this documentary about homelessness, you won't see the Eiffel Tower or the Charles Bridge in Prague. Instead, we encounter harrowing stories beneath cold overpasses, where people have no home to return to. Cincinnati, a city known for its culture, art, and history, is now facing a heartbreaking reality, a homelessness crisis spreading across every street corner. Imagine this: every early morning or late at night, beneath the highway overpasses, there are tents made of plastic tarps, isolated like forgotten islands. Each stiff blanket is a battle against temperatures dropping to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Support centers are overwhelmed, Shelter House and City Gospel Mission have no empty beds when night falls. Maria's story, a woman in her 40s sleeping at a bus stop, is impossible to ignore. I was a nurse for 12 years. When my husband overdosed on fentanyl, I quit my job and lost my home. Then one day, I woke up on the sidewalk. A suffocating contrast plays out every day. While new luxury apartment complexes are opening, old low-income housing is being torn down. Gentrification isn't inherently wrong, but without affordable housing solutions, it becomes a way of pushing the poor out of the very places they call home. The story is still unfolding. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about this stark contrast between light and darkness? Is urbanization becoming a double-edged sword? Stay with us as we dive deeper into the root causes to better understand what's really happening. If you want to truly solve a crisis, you have to start with the question, why did it begin? When it comes to the homelessness crisis in Cincinnati, the answer isn't a single cause, but a tangled web of injustice and scarcity, where one broken link can bring an entire life crashing down. First, let's talk about housing. We're living in a city where the rent for a one-bedroom apartment ranges from $900 to $1,100 a month, while the minimum wage in Ohio is just $10.45 an hour. Even working full-time, that adds up to only about $21,000 a year, meaning more than half of that income goes toward rent. So what about food, medicine, tuition, or childcare? It's no surprise that thousands of people are pushed out of their homes by something as simple as a back injury, a broken-down car, or a cut in work hours. The system itself doesn't allow them a safety net. And when they can't afford rent, they start to spiral, not because they're lazy, but because they've been placed in a system where one misstep is all it takes to fall to the bottom. That's not even counting the history of racial discrimination, something many people overlook when exploring Western countries. Redlining policies in the past denied people of color access to home loans. While no longer legal, the legacy still lingers. The homeownership rate for Black Americans is nearly 40% lower than that of white Americans. In Cincinnati, many neighborhoods that were once home to communities of color are now being displaced by urban redevelopment projects. And if you think someone will get help when they fall into a situation like this, think again. Mental health services in Cincinnati are overwhelmed, underfunded, and understaffed. Someone dealing with anxiety, depression, or PTSD might have to wait months to see a doctor, if they can even afford it. In the meantime, they still have to work, still have to care for their kids, still have to survive, and many turn to alcohol or drugs as a temporary escape. Fentanyl, a cheap and deadly drug, has flooded Cincinnati. For just $10, someone can get a dose, but the real cost could be their life. The heartbreaking truth is, getting into a rehab program costs dozens of times more. And not everyone has health insurance. The result? Addiction, then job loss, then homelessness. And finally, the harsh truth, many people experiencing homelessness are still working every single day. They deliver packages, clean hotel rooms, stock shelves at grocery stores. But it's not enough to live on. They have no long-term contracts, no insurance, no benefits. Just one illness or a single missed week of work can leave them sleeping on the streets. None of this is surprising, it's the result of a system not built to support the vulnerable. When the system fails to lift people up, the only thing it does is push them down. This isn't a personal failure. It's a societal one. What do you think is the deeper cause of the homelessness crisis? Leave a comment below, and if you've ever lived in a big city, you'll understand, sometimes, a single doorstep can become the last refuge for a human being. Yet in the midst of what feels like endless darkness, small lights are still being lit, not by distant policies, but by the community itself. Ordinary people, local organizations, and quiet volunteer groups are fighting every day to bring hope. At Shelter House on Reading Road, it's not just about a bed and a hot meal. They offer mental health counseling, job training programs, and vocational classes. But most importantly, they see the person behind each struggle. Here, the homeless aren't treated as a problem to fix, they're individuals who deserve to be heard and given a chance. Mobile outreach teams like those from Joseph House go directly to the encampments, knocking on tent doors with clean water, warm blankets, and a judgment-free hello. They don't pressure anyone into shelters, they build trust first. And only when someone is ready do they take the next step. We met Tim, a veteran who spent 7 years living in Washington Park. He had lost everything, his wife, his kids, his home. But thanks to an outreach team, he's now working part-time at a warehouse and getting ready to move into his first affordable apartment. He said, "No one saved me. They just didn't give up on me." The miracle of community efforts lies in their patience and unconditional support. While larger systems continue to struggle, it's the everyday people who are creating real change. First-time homebuyer assistance programs, vocational training in electrical repair, solar panel installation, these are helping those in poverty rebuild their lives. We may not be able to change the whole world, but we can change one person's world. And sometimes, like with Maria or Tim, all it takes is one person believing in you, to start over. If you believe travel isn't just about sightseeing, but about uncovering the truth of a nation, then this is the sign that needs to be seen. A city shouldn't only be remembered for its museums or restaurants, but for how it treats its most vulnerable. Have you ever seen a glimmer of hope in the dark? Leave a comment below. And if you believe in the power of community, help us share these stories. Because a documentary about homelessness isn't just meant to be watched, it's meant to inspire action. Cincinnati isn't an isolated story. It's a reflection of a social system where anyone can become an outsider with just one misstep. Through this journey, the documentary doesn't just open a window into harsh reality, it also expands our understanding of the value of compassion, empathy, and community spirit. A travel experience is never complete if it ends with just snapping photos at famous landmarks. Truly discovering a country means understanding its pain, its shadows, and the resilience of its people. The documentary on homelessness in Cincinnati is a powerful example of that. It not only takes viewers deep into the lives of those society has forgotten, but also serves as a wake-up call for every city around the world. For travelers, this isn't just a tour, it's an invitation to listen, to look closely, and to reflect. For the international community, it's a call to action: invest in people, in public health, in affordable housing, in education, and in models that restore dignity, instead of just building more skyscrapers. Because sometimes, what defines a city isn't the height of its buildings, but the depth of its compassion. If you believe everyone deserves a home and a fresh start, share this video, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Together, we can shine a light into the darkness, not just in Cincinnati, but anywhere people are still being forgotten. Thank you for being with us.